Public schools should not be in a monopoly position. They should have to compete with private schools. Why should a parent be restricted to using his tax money simply in those schools that are run by the government?
Yeah, my concerns here are the following. By the way, I should mention to you that in Palo Alto, where I am a member of the school board, voted in a policy that all graduates of Palo Alto high schools will be proficient in foreign languages. That will be a requirement for graduation. There's no private school in the country, to our knowledge, that sets that kind of standard.
Why should there be? Why should you be able to tell John and Jane that they necessarily have to be proficient in a foreign language? Maybe they'd rather be proficient in music or in mathematics or in something else. I don't see that that's anything for you to boast about. It's just a demonstration of your willingness to replace their judgment by yours.
Now that Arizona has passed sweeping school choice legislation, and also Texas is on the verge of passing their version of school choice, and then lastly, the current administration is talking about closing the Department of Education and kicking education back down to the states and states alone. I think it's about time for us to have this discussion on if and why school choice may be the step in the right direction in solving the educational gap. Man, this is going to be good. Bring your questions and your perspectives. This is going to be really fun. Let's get this thing. You see that thing, baby? Let's get in. Let's go.
We on now. They respect us cause we on now. Money up, run the whole town, don't we? This power money can't slow down. Money won't slow down. Ooh, we doing it. Why they party? I'm in here grinding. Money I'm stacking. Why they rock diamonds? I can't relate to them, ain't my chick calming. I set a goal for me 2 or 3 commas. 7 figures, 8 figures to 9 figures. On a slow pace to get rich quick. Same time we just think different. Cause when you make it, it hit different.
What it do, baby? It's your partner Dale back in the saddle again for another edition of the Counter Move podcast. Guys, welcome. I know I'm a little bit early, but it's all good. You still get to see your partner. So if you could share, like, and subscribe, guys. I believe today is going to be a really good one. And I'm needing my educational professionals, the principals, even the teachers union people. I need everybody, the officials, the legislators, Congress, governors, the president, vice president. We need everybody in this discussion, guys, because this is going to be a very good discussion today, guys. Guys, there's been a lot of talk. I did a kind of podcast previously talking about the closing of the Department of Education, how the Trump administration has been talking about closing the Department of Education. But guys, there's something going on right now that is kind of really getting us some steam right now. It is this here is let me get to it real quickly, guys. School choice versus public schooling. Which is the better option for bridging the educational gap? Yes, so we're going to talk about this one today. So no matter what platform you own, you're going to want to share this one. This is going to be really good, guys. And again, you're welcome to come up and talk with me, guys. So let me know, in whatever platform you own, I will send you over an invitation for you to come on and talk to your partner. This is what we're going to talk about today, guys. This is going to be a more of a discussion, not so much a debate, but a discussion. All right, here we go. This is what we're going to be talking about. And the topics real fast. Let me get that right. Topics real fast. Closing of the Department of Education. Man, that is picking up steam right now. Right. Number 2, school choice being the education answer, right, to bridging that gap. Number 3, we're going to analyze arguments for school choice versus public schools choice. All right. And we're going to have a pro person that's actually pro school choice with some facts, as well as an official in the state of Arizona. Arizona is kind of been, they've really passed school choice from a statewide standpoint. All right, guys. Number 4, guys, I'm going to answer the question: will school choice close the education gap? is that a step in the right direction? All right. So we're going to look at this thing really, not so much a debate. And of course, I'm going to give you my thoughts. Now, guys, there's been some talk concerning closing the Department of Education, right? And you actually heard President Donald Trump talk about, and I'm going to find a video real fast, my bad, talking about closing the Department of Education, right? And he has actually, he's actually appointed, someone that I actually respect. Her name is Linda McMahon. And he had said that, hey, he wants Linda McMahon to work hard to get herself out of a job. That's what he's actually said. All right. So let me bring this up real quickly here, guys. Let me stop this one. I'm going to replace this real fast. I'm going to begin here. This is President Trump talking about why he nominated Linda McMahon concerning closing the Department of Education. Let's see what's going on here. Come on now. Where you at? Come on. Where you at? Come on now, baby. Oh, here we go. My bad. Yeah. Here we go. Boom. Technology. All right. Here is President Trump talking about why the question was asked by Peter Ducey. And it was a really good question. He's like, why did you nominate Linda McMahon to be the Secretary of the Department of Education? Let's see what that says. Here we go.
Linda McMahon to be the Education Department Secretary if you're going to get rid of the Education Department?
Because I told Linda, I hope you do a great job and put yourself out of a job. I want her to put herself out of a job. Education Department. So we're ranked number 40 out of 40 schools, right? We're ranked number 1 in cost per pupil. So we spend more per pupil than any other country in the world, and we're ranked at the bottom of the list. We're ranked very badly. And what I want to do is let the states run schools. I believe strongly in school choice, but in addition to that, I want the states to run schools.
Why nominate Linda McMahon to be?
So we just heard President Donald Trump come out and say that he's pro-school choice, right? And also he's saying the reason why he's pro-school choice is because really the Department of Education has not really done a good job, in his opinion, at running education, making it better. Right, that's what he's saying. So he's literally saying, "Hey, his Department of Education nominee, Linda McMahon, work hard to really become jobless." But Linda McMahon, she's worth $9 billion. She's just fine, guys. Now let's go over this real quickly, guys. All right. Again, this is not so much a debate. This is more so answering this question now. School choice being the educational answer. Let's look at an example. A lot of people actually have the wrong, that I've noticed actually have the wrong inclination of what a school choice is, right? So I thought it'd be wise for us to really look at what is school choice. Here we go. Let's dive into it.
What is school choice? It's not as complicated as you might think. School choice is a way governments can give parents back their education tax dollars to choose whatever educational options they think best fit their kids. Here's how it works. It starts with you and your community.
Yep.
Together, you all pay income taxes, sales taxes, or both. Those taxes become the revenue the state uses to pay for education. From there, the state splits up those funds to all families based on their children's needs. Families can then use that money to purchase whichever schooling options, public, private, charter, homeschool, online, or otherwise, they think are best for their kids. An educated child has greater opportunities to succeed and to bring that success back to their community. Like to know how school choice looks today? Although it is not available to all families right now, there are 4 ways many states offer parents choice. Click to learn more about each of them.
So as you can see, you have school vouchers, education savings accounts, tax credit scholarships, and tax credit and deductions. So there's 4 ways that they're trying to make this work. And President Trump has been very clear. He wants to get rid of the Department of Education and to kick the education back down to the states because he's pro-school choice. That's how this normally works. All right, guys. So also, guys, there's another area in school choice that has been different. It's public schooling, but it's a little different. It is charter schools. Charter schools exist in. There's a lot of charter schools going on right now, but this option is not really talked about at all. It's kind of a public, but kind of with a private type of feel to it, right? And charter schools have been fairly successful. They've grown a lot, right? So this is a form of school choice as well, even though it is available now. But let's dive into it. Here we go.
Historically, education in the United States has been split between private schools and traditional public schools. However, this dynamic changed in 1991 when Minnesota passed the first law establishing charter schools in the state. Since then, a majority of states have some kind of charter school system. But what exactly is a charter school? Charter schools offer education ranging in grades K through 12 without charge to students. Charter schools are funded with tax dollars, but are generally subject to fewer rules and regulations than traditional public schools, and they usually receive less public funds per pupil than public schools. Charter school students typically take the same state-required standardized tests as public school students. Depending on state law, these schools can be started by parents, teachers, nonprofit groups, corporations, or even government organizations. Charter schools may focus on specific skills and subjects like math or science, or may be aimed at students who require alternative learning methods, such as teaching lessons that use visual or more hands-on approaches. But these entities just can't start one whenever they please. They must first obtain authorization from either the school district, city, or state, depending on how the charter school laws are structured.
Wow.
And the charter school model has achieved various levels of success. Over the past 25 years, the number of charter schools in the U.S. has skyrocketed, forcing more competition and faster improvement among existing public and private schools. As of 2016, there are almost 7,000 charter schools serving 3 million students. And since 2000, charter school enrollment has increased by 600%.
Yeah.
But as charter schools have become more popular, opposition has grown. Teachers' unions and other public school activists argue that charter schools take money away from traditional public schools. However, it's unfair to hold minority parents and students hostage in underperforming public schools. Overall, charter schools have provided an entrepreneurial challenge to the status quo and delivered results that make it worth expanding this option for parents. According to a 2015 Stanford study, not only do charter schools provide significantly higher levels of growth in math and reading for all students, but minority and low-income students benefit disproportionately more. Charter schools are becoming a bigger part of the U.S. education system every year, and for millions of American families, they offer a much-needed choice that's different than a one-size-fits-all public school. Every other sector of the American economy has benefited from the ability to compete and improve. Why not education?
Agree.
To learn more about education reform.
So again, guys, that is charter schools, right? It's funded by public dollars, right? But it's not as much funding as a public school. So public schools get more money than a charter school, right? So that's what a charter school is. I've been talking to some individuals about this, and I was very alarmed at how many people didn't know what a charter school was. As far as there was a lot of lack of knowledge there when it comes to what's a charter school, and it's not gonna be beneficial to any students at all. They have really no clue at how charter schools, who are funded charter schools, and how they actually work, and how many was actually out there. There's a lot of charter schools, and I didn't know until I saw this, that it has to be basically blessed by the school district and the state legislator. I said, oh, wow, I like that. So that is what I learned about that. Now, guys, let's dive into this next video, guys, again, all right? Now, Steve Stossel, I like him. He actually did a video on really school choice. And he's pro school choice, but he talks about how school choice is actually winning, and they're using a case study of a real life case study that's actually been implemented in the state of Arizona. And that's Arizona actually has a Democrat president, and I believe a Republican House and Senate. I may be wrong on the legislative branch, but they have a Democrat governor. So you actually have this type of scenarios forcing both the Republicans and Democrats and independents to work together in a state to try to produce a winning product through education. Let's get it in. Let's see what's going down. Here we go.
Every Arizona student can attend any school.
Finally, more states will let parents choose their kids' schools.
Arizona just passed the biggest school choice victory in U.S. history.
Corey DeAngelis studies education.
Now every single family will be able to take their children's state-funded education dollars to the education provider of their choosing.
Many kids and parents are happy about that.
My son's learning and mom is at peace.
It's no surprise. Competition improves things in every field. Henry Ford's assembly line was great, but by today's standards, his cars were lousy. That's because every year car makers design better cars. Competition forces them to innovate. But American education has barely changed since the days of Henry Ford. Kids still sit in a room watching a teacher at a blackboard, and then they do worksheets. Still, the education establishment says, we don't need competition.
Our neighborhood schools, I believe, truly have what every child needs.
But they don't. I once debated this union boss.
Unionized monopolies like yours fail.
Those folks who want to say this all the time, they don't really care about kids.
Randy Weingarten didn't like my TV special on education. She had her union members protest outside my office.
Who are we?
The UFT! I came out to hear their criticism, and Weingarten said I was ignorant.
So just teach for a week.
That, she said, would educate me. The crowd liked that idea.
Teach.
But when I said, yes, I'll teach, the union decided, no, we don't want you in our school. Weingarten will no longer speak with me. But her Fairfax, Virginia chapter head, here he is meeting with her, did agree to talk. What's wrong with giving parents a choice?
The best outcome for all students is going to be for the public education system to be as strong as possible.
Parental choice, he says, would duplicate bureaucracy.
Once you start setting up other systems, that same bureaucracy is then going to exist multiple times.
Wait, maybe there would be less bureaucracy. His school spends $300,000 per classroom. His teachers don't get paid that much. The money disappears into the bureaucracy. At least choice lets people develop alternatives to you.
Any ideas you have for lowering bureaucracy, you're not going to hear any disagreement from the teachers union.
Okay, here's one idea. Get rid of your endless rules that protect every teacher's job. It's almost impossible to fire a teacher in Fairfax County.
Coming as a union leader, this might be surprising, but those teachers that aren't, up to snuff, they should be let go.
But they aren't, because union rules make it so hard. A few years ago, one of Walrod's schools called this teacher incompetent. The school spent more than $70,000 on lawyers trying to fire her, but the bureaucracy wouldn't allow it. School choice would let parents escape such badly managed schools. Why not trust the parents to decide what's best for their kids?
What you're doing is you're incentivizing a lack of collaboration. If I'm competing directly against you, then I have a vested interest in doing better than you.
But isn't that good?
Not in education.
COVID lockdowns gave parents another reason.
Hold on. What I'm hearing this gentleman say is, what I'm hearing is the teachers union, public schools, really teacher union, don't think that competition will actually breed a better educational system. They really want a monopoly on education. Interesting.
And to want school choice. Your school only now has returned to full-time instruction. Catholic schools, private schools, let kids in way ahead of you. What's up with that?
There are definitely valid arguments to say that some districts played it too cautious, but we were dealing with an ongoing health crisis.
5,000 students left Fairfax public schools during the pandemic. They gave up a free education to pay for it or do it themselves. Doesn't it suggest that Fairfax schools didn't do a good job?
No, they were trying to follow CDC guidelines.
It seems like you were eager to embrace the CDC's message in the most strict way, so you didn't have to go to work.
Teachers were working that whole time. Online teaching was harder than in-person teaching.
One other reason why some parents left government-run schools indoctrination.
White Americans have more because of racism.
Your schools paid $20,000 for a 1-hour Zoom presentation from Ibrahim Kendi. Is that a good use of taxpayer money?
The people that watched that presentation, how much would it have cost to send them to a convention that he was speaking at?
Well, much more, I assume, but you could, if you want to hear him, you can hear him free on YouTube.
If they watched YouTube clips of him, it wouldn't have been about Fairfax.
Maybe Fairfax parents want Kendi paid hundreds of dollars a minute to give a Zoom speech to their school administration. But I doubt that all do. That's why choice is good. If you want your kid to wear masks or to study critical race theory, you can pick a school that does that.
Yeah, absolutely. Allow families to take their children to institutions that best align with their values. That's the only way forward with freedom as opposed to force.
Wow. And what about the most important thing? Learning.
Public schools have consistently outperformed charter schools.
Okay.
How so? Where's the evidence for that?
You can look in educational policy journals and you're going to see some of that stuff.
Yes, a few studies found school choice didn't boost test scores.
Nationally, the results on vouchers are mixed.
Why aren't they testing better? That was the promise.
They're not government-run schools that are teaching to the test.
PBS and NPR eagerly reported.
Recent studies have shown voucher students actually losing ground.
Let's stop cherry-picking with the evidence. The preponderance of the evidence is positive.
Most studies find test score gains for kids who took vouchers.
Okay.
And there was a surprise extra benefit. Some government schools improved.
Public schools actually upped their game in response to competition.
In D.C., after school choice was allowed, everyone tried harder, and both charter and government schools improved.
Okay.
School choice doesn't destroy public schools, it actually makes them better.
For much less money.
The government-run schools spend over $30,000 per year in D.C., and the voucher amount's only about a third of that. So I would call that a win.
A win for taxpayers and parents who finally have a say in where their kids get to go to school.
For a long time in K-12 education, the only special interest group was the teachers' unions and the other employees' unions. But now there's a new special interest group in town, parents, and they aren't going away anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, guys, that was John Stossel. I think that was a pretty good presentation, and it was pro school choice. Got it. We got to be fair. Now, guys, the one thing I did hear is when it came to that exchange between him and that Fairfax, I believe, teacher or union person. It seems to be a bent against competition in education. Him saying that he literally said competition will only breed another system, which is going to bring another bureaucracy, which is going to make it even worse for the student. Okay, now let's go to CNBC. I'm sorry, this is Jim Stossel again. Forgive me. Jim Stossel actually did another video on. There's a school in the state here, and you're going to see in a second. That was actually helping lower income kids, right? And he was talking about some student unions that didn't like the effect that it was having on these kids. Let's see what's going on, guys. Let's get it in.
Our largest crew to date.
So many kids from one charter school take advanced placement exams. They had to rent space at a convention center.
Wow.
Kids who attend rich suburban schools sometimes pay $500 an hour for tutoring for tests. But these kids can't afford that. They're mostly from low-income families. They attend a city charter chain, yet they succeed.
Outperforming their peers by a landslide.
On math tests, Success Academy kids outperform every school in New York State. Other charters are in blue on this graph, government-run schools in gray. Success kids also outperform other kids in English.
That is redefining American public education.
Wow. LeMay DeYoung is Success Academy's chief schooling officer.
Okay. Our Black and Hispanic students outperformed their peers by double, triple % in their math.
By peers, you include the rich kids in the suburbs?
Yes.
But school is boring.
No, it's not!
these kids.
When I first checked out this charter, I was amazed that these kids enjoyed school.
So this is charter
saying
school.
Subjects like reading were
Rockin' awesome.
So you guys look forward to going to school in the morning?
Yes.
It's why lots of parents want to get their kids into Success Academy.
Okay.
I watch them line up, hoping to get their kids in.
This line goes on and on forever. Goes around the block. What do you do when you have thousands of people and just a few hundred slots?
Whoa.
They hold a lottery.
The winners are happy. Sadly, there are many more losers.
Wow.
That means my name gonna come next time.
Yeah, next year. Not today.
That's so sad. Today, the lottery's done electronically, so we don't get to see the thousands of kids and parents who cry in disappointment.
Poor kids.
The chain wants to offer its magic to more kids, but they aren't allowed to.
Man.
New York limits the number of charter schools.
Oh, this is New York.
Why? Because some people hate them.
Y'all are not welcome here. We will not welcome you here.
Politicians and the teachers' union have convinced many people that charter schools are evil. When progressive Democrats are in charge, they shut some charters down.
The highest performing school in the state.
Upsetting even media leftists.
And it's in Harlem, is being shut down.
Why shut down a successful school? Why not give parents more choice? Here's a union vice president.
We have a lot of choice. It's do we need more choice?
Yes, competition's good. But the education establishment doesn't want competition.
Okay. Education advocates say charter schools are not the answer, taking away from an already shrinking budget in New York City public schools.
That's completely wrong.
It is. Spending on government schools is not shrinking, it's increasing, despite falling enrollment. Also, charters like Success get half what government-run schools get. Yet with less money, Success does better. Why does Success succeed?
Because we believe children can. And that is
What,
fundamentally...
the other schools don't believe children can?
No, there's low expectations that persist, unfortunately, and even more so after the pandemic.
At other schools, pandemic-related learning loss is the new normal, but not its success. Every one of these kids has been accepted by a college. Here they cheer as friends open their acceptances.
That doesn't just happen.
One reason it does is because the school day here is longer.
Kids often stay till 5 p.m. Charter teachers can be asked to work more than the union would have allowed. They told us they don't mind.
But you're going to burn out. Why aren't you ticked off?
That's not an option for us because we kind of have our eye on the prize with these kids.
Now, some Success parents do pull their kids out because of the extra hours required.
Okay.
Critics say that raises average test scores for kids who remain. Probably does. But so what? High expectations are a good thing for many kids. Thousands from low-income families now succeed because this charter chain innovates. At most schools, the principal sits in the principal's office, not at Success.
No, they're in the classrooms.
What are they telling you?
They're telling me things that I don't see. If I don't think of a great question in the moment, my principal's able to kind of feed that to me.
We expect not only change, but fast change.
Some teachers don't like being watched and criticized.
No, but it's purposeful. And they're getting better. And when they get better, their scholars do better. And they feel, as educators, more successful. And that's what you want.
Most high school students never even take advanced placement tests. Of those who take them in New York City, only half pass. But all Success kids take the tests, and 80% pass.
We were all pretty nervous about this test.
It was like, oh my God, wow, I'm really about to take my first AP exam.
You're a freshman. Most people don't take that until junior or senior year, if then.
I think that makes me more proud.
These kids must be miserable. They're working all the time.
Why are they miserable? They're having fun learning.
Success offers dance and other activities. It's not schoolwork all the time.
Chess, debate, theater, music, those aren't add-ons. Those are part of our day.
This student was surprised that her friend at a government-run school had few extracurriculars to put in her college application.
I was like, don't you
have any like leadership positions. Like, you should just go for student council, and they didn't have one. Wow. And I was like, that's shocking. Well, you should like make one. And they were like, oh, like my school doesn't do that. I was like, okay, how about like a club? And she was like, we still don't do that.
Jeez. Success does make its teachers work harder and longer. Some quit. But so what? Other teachers like it here. And the goal is for kids to succeed. And they do.
I feel like it's unfair that not everybody gets to get this opportunity.
If SA doesn't exist, then we wouldn't all exist, and we wouldn't have all the cool opportunities that we have.
It's great that the kids here could have a choice and pick a better school. All kids should have that choice.
Yeah. So guys, that is kind of a long and short of arguments arguing for school choice. This includes charter schools as well also. You saw the definition of school choice. You saw the definition of what a charter school is. You saw a pro school choice presentation and also a pro charter school presentation. Now, guys, let's get down to the nitty gritty, guys. All right? Get down to the nitty gritty. Now, let's go to school choice versus public schools. Okay? Let's go to this. This is going to be very interesting because of the fact that we're going to use a real live case study on this. Real live case study, right? And the case study is going to be the state of Arizona. They actually have statewide school choice right now. Statewide, I believe it was passed under a Republican governorship, and then of course the legislature, as well as Republican, continued on and expanded as well under a Democrat administration when it comes to the governorship, as well as a Republican state legislative. So that's cool. We're gonna actually have a kind of a debate live on TV of an educator that is pro. These are professional educators, right? Active educators, pro school choice and pro public school. And we're going to hear their arguments so we can answer the question, will school choice lead, will they actually bridge that educational gap? Here we go. Let's dive into this. Let's get it in.
Sean Hook's Newsmaker Saturday starts now.
Thanks for joining us on Newsmaker Saturday. What is the best way to educate our children? When that question arises, the discussion eventually turns to the issue of school choice. Yes. Arizona has been a pioneer in school choice now for 25 years. Nearly 1 million students attend publicly funded K-12 schools in Arizona, but 250,000, 1 out of every 4, attend one of more than 700 charter schools in the state. Wow. The premise has been in Arizona, give parents options to do what they think is best for their child. Okay. But opponents say this siphons money away from public schools and harms the most vulnerable.
So it seems like the argument against school choice is over money, not execution, money. Let's get it in.
We're going to talk about it for the next entirety of the program. Lisa Graham-Keegan, former superintendent of public instruction. She favors school choice. Beth Lewis is from Save Our Schools. She's reticent. not exactly in favor of it. So thanks to both of you for being here.
Pleasure. Yes,
Let me start with just an overarching. Is choice, Beth, a good thing for parents and students?
Yeah, I think Arizona has, like you said, robust choice. We have open enrollment. Families have tremendous options between district schools and charter schools, which are all publicly funded. The issue that Save Our Schools Arizona is facing is this unfettered ESA voucher program that is a really irresponsible use of taxpayer
funds. Which expanded greatly under Governor Ducey in the last legislature. So you don't like that it's not the funding mechanism to support it and that it'll end up drawing away from public schools, the traditional public schools?
Yeah, absolutely. So the JLBC, which is the legislative budget body, has come forth and said that there are $200 million in unbudgeted costs for this year, and that will balloon to $376 million the next year. The director has said he's really never seen anything like this. He's shocked that the legislature would irresponsibly pass a program that's not funded.
We do have a surplus. Are they thinking they'll draw from that? Is that the idea?
Maybe. I think the economic projections in the next couple of years are showing that there is no surplus in 2 years. So this is sort of kicking the can down the road.
Okay.
And that has to come from somewhere. If we're using it there, we're not using it for roads. We're not using it for local public schools. We're not lifting local public schools out of their spot, which is 47th in the nation in per student spending.
Okay, Lisa Graham-Keegan, you were the superintendent of public instruction, so you had to look after traditional public schools, but you ran on choice. Choice was a big part of what you did.
Okay.
So I ran on the fact that public support should go to public school students, all students in Arizona.
And charters are public schools.
Correct.
Charters are public schools. The ESA allows parents to even choose a private school. That's really what this is about. So they can choose to go to a private school, and then that money is, the parent will apply to the state and say, hey, my child would otherwise have received this much money in Arizona.
ESA is Empowerment Scholarship Account, $7,000.
More or less, all of the money in Arizona follows kids, John. So there's a formula, and depending on the student's needs. So if a child has special needs, they might be 2 times as much as a normal child. It just depends. It's a good feature of Arizona's law, but schools get money because a child shows up in a school.
Okay.
So
fannies in the seats.
Fannies in the seats. And in Arizona, because you can choose a school, there's a lot of disruption in whether parents want to be in this assigned school or they want to choose another public school, or now with the ESA applicable to anybody who wants it, they can go into private schools. And one of the things that happened, and Beth and I will agree, JLBC did not do a good job projecting here. They didn't realize, look, everybody who is already in a private school is obviously going to want this. They're going to want to be reimbursed. What it does that I think is most important, since my work is with low-income families, is it allows families who never had access to a private school, and they think that's a perfect fit for their child. They now have access to that. I think that's important.
So Beth, where's the data supporting that kids who are in those low-income areas actually end up going to a private school?
Yeah, so the data is not there. The vast majority are coming from, wealthier districts. It's hard to kind of dial in because there's not a lot of transparency around the program, but we do know that, many of the students that were already attending private school could already afford private school, and they're taking in that money. I think it's really important to also point out that a lot of these folks are not using it for private school. They're using it for home education, and it's a really interesting way that we're using our taxpayer dollars. Superintendent Horn bragged that he approved $22 million in one day, over 22,000 reimbursements. Those were Venmo purchases for in-home tutors, gourmet coffee machines, all sorts of wild expenses that are being, justified as educational.
My question is, how often is that done? It seems to be that this entire argument over public school versus school choice just centers around money. Money, 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 money. That's it. Not execution, not strategy, money. That's it. Let's keep it going.
And the parents just download any curriculum they want and call that a home education and recoup $7,000 per child.
But they've got to invoice specific expenses, and a coffee maker is actually not something they should get approved for. So I would agree with you there, but that's not how that works.
And they've got bounce houses, water filtrilation systems, designer bar stools.
And we're going to both agree there's things that should not be reimbursed, John. So I'm not.
Is that an extreme case? Is that happening often? Like that's the one thing that I hear a lot when it comes to arguments is the one that's maybe against school choice brings up an extreme case, and it may have happened right once or twice, a couple times, but it's not the macro, it's the micro. But you really highlight the micro, and you make that your source of argument. How often does that actually happen? And you see the lady that is pro school choice. She's saying, I don't agree with that. Not a problem with it at all. Let's see what's going on.
I'm not going to argue about that. In the main, the reason there's not currently very many low-income families applying for reimbursement for their private tuition, they haven't been able to afford to go before. So we don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully you get, if there are low-income families who want to attend a school close to them that is private, that they think is a great fit, they'll be able to do that. We'll see. We'll see. But right now, sure, the majority of parents who are in a private school that will apply for the ESA they would have had the financial means to do that. I'm not worried about them.
Full disclosure, our 3 kids all went to traditional public schools, district schools.
Yeah.
And there was a debate in our family about a couple of them. Do we send them to some type of charter or private school?
Sure.
And I would argue with my wife about this and say, I've been paying taxes in this district for schooling for 25 years. It's time to reap the benefit of that outlay.
Right.
So,
well, why shouldn't private schools?
I agree with that 100% because it seems to be that, as we know, from a local and county standpoint, from a state standpoint, education is funded by property taxes, right? Whether you are poor, middle class, or wealthy, you are paying into a pool via your property taxes. It seems to be on the argument concerning those that are not pro school choice. What I hear a lot of times is they'll say, well, the wealthy are going to take advantage of this school choice scenario, right? And take those dollars away from those that may need it. Number one, the wealthy are also paying into that pool of money as well via their property taxes, right? So it's part of their money too. And then number two, guys, the wealthy are already they're already in school choice because we're actually paying for our kids to go to school out of our own pocket. So we already are existing in a form of school choice via paying for our students, for our kids' tuition by ourselves. For instance, myself, me and my wife, our kids go to a private school. We pay for the tuition, the books, the extracurricular, the uniforms. We take them, we pick them up. We pay for everything when it comes to private schooling. And when I'm hearing those that are anti-private, anti-school choice, is they're saying, "Hey, we want the wealthy to invest their dollars via the property taxes, but we don't want y'all to at all to have any of that money at all." Really? Is that fair? Does that make sense? Hell no, it doesn't. Let's keep it going.
Families, they've been paying taxes forever for schooling. All of us pay taxes for schooling,
Right.
and I'm happy to do it. I just have grandkids now. But
Correct.
of course, but I don't think there's any reason we should say, look, the money is not for schools. The money is for the student.
Correct.
It should travel with the student.
Correct.
To a school that works for them.
Correct.
Look, the impact on any school is the same. Had you made a decision, and you did, to move from your assigned school into another district school,
right.
The impact on the school you left is exactly the same as if you'd chosen to go to a private school.
Correct.
They lost that money. Because when the child leaves, the money leaves. Money should follow students.
Follow the
and
child.
we should be most concerned it's to an excellent school.
Okay, so Beth, what's the problem with that? Why not let the
Good
money
question.
follow the student, give the parents
Good
and
question.
the student the ultimate choice of where they want to go?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there are quite a lot of issues there. One thing being that the school is the one doing the choosing, right? So even if I were to get a voucher and my student maybe had an IEP or had special needs, the private school doesn't have to accept my student.
Sure.
Now, with home education, of course, I would accept my own student. But I think that taxpayers are really having a lot of questions right now about why am I funding all of these wild home education expenses or private school expenses that may go to schools that discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation, gender, faith,
A hypothetical?
all sorts of things. And I think that, we as taxpayers really want those public funds to stay in public schools. Voters did weigh in 2018 and they said that. So we do have pretty recent data to support that. And, I think that it could be a different conversation if we weren't 47th in funding for local schools that serve 1 million kids.
It just seems that the young lady that's presenting the case of pro-public schools, which is fine, the main source of her argument is just over money. And the lady that is pro-school choice is saying, hey, the money is coming from taxpayers, right, via their property taxes. Hey, the money should follow the child because it's the taxpayers' money. It should be put into a pool of a pool of money, and then you have a bureaucrats deciding what to do with the money, as is what it's been for the majority of the time here. That's what I'm kind of saying. The argument is over money, not execution. Money. Man.
And that's for charter and for district schools. But unfortunately, we've made some modest investments in the last few years. It's not enough to move the needle.
How do we? And it isn't. How do we? The looseness of using the word return and using the word investments, right? You can't use a term, an investing term like investments, without the accountability of a return on that investment. Too many times those that are in government, right, skirt around the accountability of what's been the return of that investment. What's the accountability there? There's very little, if any, discussion concerning ROI in education. That's a problem.
Interesting, because we remain mired in the bottom of the rankings despite 17.3% increase in per pupil funding between 2015 and 2020. But that still is behind the national average of 18.5%. Yeah. It seems like we can't get ahead of the curve here.
You want to know how to get ahead of the curve?
Tell me.
Put everybody in the same boat. You don't think there's now going to be huge advocacy on the part of private school parents for a greater per pupil amount of money? I guarantee you, nobody loves money like a conservative when it's theirs. I mean, I'm just saying that think about it this way, John. You just said we all pay taxes for schooling. All parents now with a child in a school have the ability to spend that, state investment wherever they want, and they will want that investment to be as high as it can be. Yes. One of the problems is when you exclude people who can afford private school from being worried about how much we're funding kids with every year. They don't argue, they don't go down to the legislature. We just got those voices involved in the mix. To me, that's a really positive thing. I would like to see us make an investment, as much investment as we can for high quality education.
Did anybody consider down there an income threshold to say if you're over a certain amount that you make per year, you can't take advantage of this deal?
We asked that same question repeatedly last session, and there was a refusal to do so. I was told that the Republican lawmakers leading the charge on this were told their rich constituents wanted it to fund their private schools. I'm just repeating the facts. And we know that there's a huge gap that remains. Right now, we're seeing private schools raise their tuition, and magically, sometimes by about $7,000. I think anytime you have a profit opportunity and a profit model, people are going to reap the benefits.
Listen,
that's interesting. You're saying the Brophies and Xaviers of the world are going to raise their rates knowing that there's a windfall coming?
We're already seeing some schools do that. We're also seeing new charter schools that are converting to private. So Great Hearts is opening up some new schools, and that's fine, that's their prerogative, but they're doing that, they're stating that they're doing that to reap ESA funding. And there's no limits to how much money they can take in, and there's no limits to which kids they take and which kids they don't take. I'm a public school teacher. I've been teaching in Arizona for 12 years. We take the students we get, we meet them where they are, and we lift them up, and that's the beauty of a community public school. There's no picking and choosing. And that is the key difference between public school and private school.
There's a lot of picking and choosing on whether you're able to live in a community that has a high quality school.
That's why we have open enrollment, which is fabulous.
All right, and we can talk about whether wealthy schools accept a lot of the kids who want to come to them. It is not a perfect system for sure, open enrollment. So we already have a system where if you are wealthy, the likelihood is better that your kids are going to be in a high quality school. Why don't we bring all these barriers down, as we have tried to on the public side? Let kids go to a really excellent school that might be private. I don't know why we care who is making money from this, unless they're being fraudulent, they're buying coffee makers. That's not an educational expense, but that's in the main is not mostly what's happening. Mostly what is happening is people are going to pay for tuition at schools. Yes, I totally agree that prices can change just as they are in the traditional system when there is more money around. This is something that happens. We've got to stay focused on how much money are we going to spend per child in Arizona? Are we willing to make that investment? As you say, it's actually about 20% increase in recent years in the per pupil amount of funding, which is great. We'd love to have it be more. I think we're on a trajectory, and it's going to continue to go up.
This means higher taxes.
Can that money be used in a school or a setting that works for a child? public or private. We should be focused on that first.
We weren't going to get into the debate about funding for overall education, but it is.
So, and they go on and on and on, guys. I mean, this is a great video to listen to hear the arguments for and against school choice, guys. Great video. Here's what I would say real quickly here. Now, let me kind of give you guys my thoughts real quickly, all right? School choice versus public school. And I'll do this here. When it comes to this argument, what I kind of hear is there's a lot of verbiage concerning the money. And last time I checked, schools are funded by taxes. So with more funding, higher taxes, right? Number two, the argument on the school choice side is the money should follow the child. I actually ran for public office in Texas in 2021. I literally ran on school choice because I believe the money should follow the child. Now, what I got in rebuttal to that was, well, if that's the case, well, the more wealthier individuals will begin to use those vouchers, right, and take money away from public schools that way. Well, my kind of counter to that is, number one, the money is coming from taxpayers, whether they are middle class, wealthy, or poor. They're paying for that via property taxes, right? So this is not the government's money. This is the taxpayers' money, right? Number two, if your concern is if the wealthy would take advantage of this via schools, via these vouchers or educational savings account or other mechanisms that's for them, I would say, okay, if you opposed to them actually receiving those funds, right? This is right now, I'm talking about the pro school schools. Then I go to public school in a second. Stop taking their tax money. You cannot want their tax money, right, and not give them access to their tax money. That's an oxymoron. That doesn't make any sense at all. If you want the wealthy and the middle class to pay their property taxes, which is fine, that is their money. It's the taxpayers' money. You cannot say, give us your money, but we ain't gonna let you. We're not gonna allow you to use your money. That doesn't make any sense. That's asinine. That's dumb. Number three, when it comes to school choice, all right. I do believe the money should follow the child because of the fact that when I was actually running for public office, I sat down with a good friend of mine. His name is Mitch, and he's a Democrat, and I'm an independent, but I can lean conservative, which is fine. And when I was running, we sat on the phone line for 3 hours, and we're about 2 hours, and we talked. We hammered through school choice because Mitch brought a discipline that I did not have, experience. He grew up in New Orleans, and I didn't know that at the time when he was growing up, New Orleans is 93% school choice. New Orleans. And I said, what? That's how he was able to go to one of the best schools in Louisiana, and you may even say the country, right? Which was great for him. There's been some very prestigious individuals graduating from Mitch's high school, right? And he said, Dale, what is going to be your solution to running into what they call the log jamming issue? If you were here before in the Accountable podcast, there was a school called Success Academy in New York, and they actually had that log jamming issue, and some students got in, some did not at all. Right? That's for the state of New York. So that does happen a lot of the times. And so he and I actually reasoned, and we came up with the solution, right? So I believe the money should follow the child, but it seems to be with this argument, the lion's share of the contingent is around money. Now, let's go over to the pro public school side, right? I believe charter schools, which are public schools, because they're funded by public dollars, right, should be empowered, right? If there is an issue concerning private schools, I understand that issue. I'm rocking with you. How about this solution, right? The dollar's there, right? Because everybody's putting money into this pool, right? Public dollars in this pool via property taxes. The money should go for public school first, charter school second, right? And then if a private school wants to participate in public dollars, they're gonna have to kind of restructure their educational platform if needed to meet the state standard, because you're accepting state funds, right? Because right now, when it comes to school choice, right now, the wealthy, we already have picked school choice because we have decided to send our kids to school on our dime. We pay for everything. We do, not state. We do, but we still pay property taxes. So I was talking to I call her a young lady, but she was older than I was. But she is 37 years educator, wise. I mean, wonderful black woman, wonderful. And we actually had a great discussion concerning school choice versus public schools. And we're going back and forth with these ideas of that nature. And we came to a consensus. We said, okay, how about we do this? Because her main concern was, hey, wealthy individuals taking advantage of this school choice initiative and taking dollars away from poor families. I said, man, that won't happen at all. Well, I can't say it won't, but the likelihood of that happening is going to be slim because of the fact that I'm going to use my school as an example. Okay, talking to our school headmaster, our principal there. He said yes, they have lobbyists because I'm in Texas, and Texas right now is pushing school choice very hard. They're probably not passing this year. And what he let us know as parents, he said, yeah, we do have lobbyists there concerning this to kind of let us know what's going on. He said, but in order for us to be able to take this voucher money, right, we would have to change our entire scholastic standards to meet a state standard, which is lower than ours. He said, and we will not do that. So we won't be participating in the school choice initiative because there are strings attached to government money. And he's right about that. He's right about that. In order for a private school to take advantage, and this is in Texas, to take advantage of those dollars, they're gonna have to adjust their scholastic standards to the state standard. Are they willing to do that? Some will, some won't. It's what it is. But at the exact same time, we did agree, me and this excellent educator, we did agree that in Texas, and also nationwide, charter schools should be empowered. There should be more charter schools, a lot more charter schools, because competition breeds excellence in execution. For many years, public schools have had a monopoly on education. That's been their strategy. Has it worked? I would say no. It has not worked at all, not based on me. Look at the data. The data says so. And so I think public school has a role because I'm a public school product. I am, right? So is my wife, right? Our kids have the blessing going to private school, right? So I'm an advocate for school choice, but I'm also an advocate for public schools. My thing is I believe that the money should follow the child, and you should empower charter schools, right? And competition should drive the excellence in execution, because success is increasing the educational output of our students as they progress up the per grade graduation to when they get out of school, they can go into the world, they compete on the world stage. That only happens in execution. What I'm saying is look at when it comes to business. whenever there is a deregulation, competition opens up, the products, the vendors or the service providers of those products have to get a lot more smarter to be able to compete against their competitors. Why shouldn't education have the exact same thing? Why shouldn't they? I believe it should. Now, let me ask this question real fast. It says, will school choice close the educational gap? My answer to that question is yes, because of one word, competition. I believe that education should begin and end with the parents first. And the parents should allow the states and the ISDs to partner with them, but the decision making should begin and end with the parents alone. Right now in public schools, the parents don't get a say when it comes to where they go for school in some areas. When they go to schools, because typically your zip code, right, determines where you go. There's no power and choice there. Someone is telling you where you should be going. I don't know about you. I like the freedom to choose. Don't you? So if it works in the private sector when it comes to a business, why couldn't you bring that same approach to education, right? Inviting competition, which will breed a better educational product to where you can begin to attract better talent, right? When it comes to teachers, better talent when it comes to athletics. Man, 'cause think about it. Man, I played college basketball and high school basketball. Man, we love going out and playing against I went to Lakeview High School in Garland. Our chief rival was South Garland. Man, those games were packed. Why? Because competition was going to be bred out or played out on the court. So it attracted people coming and paying money to come see high schoolers play. Think about it like this. The NFL is the most valuable business model on the planet. The NFL is. Why? Because it breeds competition. Competition is key. Look at the NBA, the NHL, the MLB, the MLS, soccer, volleyball, the NCAA, March Madness, college football. Look at all of these models who are swimming in because of competition. It's so competitive now. In college, they have collectives now and NIL deals to attract the best talent. I believe school choice will bridge that gap because of the fact that if the goal is to produce the best student, competition is key. I see Ms. Hawkins. You said on Instagram, thank you so much for your time. It says, the thing is, many teachers get into teaching for the outcome of serving at risk of underserved students. And what I'm saying is that mission is still there, Ms. Hawkins. It's still there. It's just in the realm of competition. Give you an example. Let's just say, for instance, hypothetically, Ms. Hawkins, right? You have school choices now. Let's say school choices now the law of the land for the United States, right? And what happens is parents are going to want their kids to go to the best school. So let's just say, for instance, per pupil is $10,000 per pupil, right? Per child, right? Now, of course, parents are going to what? Choose the best school. Now, that's going to really kind of cause a logjam because you only have a certain amount of students population that can fit in one school. So what's happening is now you have to go to the second, third, fourth school. How you can kind of solve that problem is you empower charter schools, right? Well, so okay, no, but you can't get into this school over here. We actually have a better product. Really? Let's see. So now what happens is you breed competition with the same missional component, which is what? To produce a top-tiered student, no matter where they are in the educational process. The mission remains the same. It didn't change. You just have a better, you have a more a la carte type of approach in a competition context for the parents to begin to choose, hey, you know what? Last year, my daughter went over here, which is cool, great. I want to see how this school actually works. And now the parent gets real world data right there on the spot. So you know what? Yes, at school A, it was great. Let me see how school B works. But then with school B, like school B was trash. Let me go back and go over school A. You see what I'm saying? But you can choose a a public school first, charter school second, and maybe in a private school. But the issue is the parents get to choose, not your zip code. No matter that process, the mission remains the same. It didn't change. It just so happens the power to choose is now with the parents, and they get the blessing of choosing which the best school for their child. It's real simple. He said it depends on what a parent deems to be the best school. Exactly, Mrs. Hawkins. The parents gets to decide what's the best school. That's the point. The power is with the parent. That is what it should be. Not a bureaucrat, not a zip code. It should be the parent. So a parent's best may be school B. Another parent's best may be school C. Another parent's best may be charter school A. It is up to the parents. That's it. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, of course, the language in the bill have to be a little bit cool, because the devil's in the details. But this is what I'm believing. That's what I'm saying. Answering the question: will school choice close the educational gap? I think it will, because it's a step in the right direction. Because we've tried a monopoly right now via public schooling, and it's not working. It's not working. On the world stage, when the Department of Education was actually founded in 1980, right? We were considered on the world as the number one educational platform on the planet. The United States of America was, right? That's in 1980. In 2025, which means 45 years later, we are now number 13. And we've had one type of school system, public schools. Period. That from a macro perspective, you have some pockets of school of private schools here and charter schools here. That's fine. But from a macro perspective, public schooling, right, has been the end all be. It's been a monopoly. It has, and it is not working. Not based on what LaDale is saying. We're now ranked 13th on the world stage. How do we go from number 1 to number 13 in 45 years? That's called sucking. It's not working. It's not working. We have to counter move. We have to pivot. And you can keep the public schooling, which is fine, and also the charter schooling, but in the realm of school choice, which breeds competition, give the power back to where the power should have never left, which is who? The parents. Not the state, not the federal government, not the county, the parents and parents alone. And let them choose, because to be honest with you, it's their tax dollars. It's their money. If that makes some sense, guys. But man, guys, so here's the strategy capital impact, guys. Open it up for school choice. I'm all for school choice. Is it gonna be perfect? Nope. Because you're dealing with human beings. No, it's not at all. But at the exact same time, the same pool of capital is there, property tax dollars, right? And the impact is the parents get to choose where to go. Should we close the Department of Education? Yes. I believe that it should be kicked back down to the states, with the parents being the leaders. Because when it comes to educational funding, 90% comes from the state. Only 10% comes from the Department of Education. Now, I know folks is going to say, Dale, what about the IDEA program when it comes to special needs? Hey, Dale, what about when it comes to making sure education is equitable? LaDale, what about when it comes to school lunches? LaDale, what about when it comes to Title IX and Title I schools? There, what about that? I hear exactly what you're saying, but tell me how when you actually have the Department of Education, before they actually came to inception in 1980, again, we were ranked number 1 in the world. After the Department of Education has been formed and implemented, we're now ranked 13th. We're now ranked 13th, right? In 45 years, which means we're going down, not up. Down, not up, right? Tell me how that's working. It's not working. It's not. And they only give 10% of all the funding. So before the 10% was involved, we're number 1. After 10% investor was involved, 13. It ain't working. It ain't working. It's not working. It's not. I understand people are concerned about jobs and where the money is going. Yeah, we got to know where the money is going. I believe DOE should do an audit on the Department of Education. I believe DOE should do an audit on every state's budget. Every state, not just Department of Education, every state. So we know where the money is going. Because states, if you all wanted to get kickback to you guys, okay, that's cool, no problem with it at all. Where the money going? How is it that the Department of Education has to step in to fund the remaining 10%? I guarantee you, just like on a federal level, there's some fraud going on and some grifting going on state levels too. I guarantee you it is. I guarantee you it is. Now, legal purpose, guys. Here we go. The missional focus, right, when it comes to education, is execution is the key to fixing education, not money. We have money. Money is there. We got the money. It's right there. But again, more money being funded, higher taxes, right? So again, execution is the key to fixing education, not money. So when I hear someone talking about money, you can't be trusted. You cannot. The reason why is because of the fact that you're not interested in a return on investment or auditing how things are going so far now. What's happening is you just focus on the money. Trash. Sorry. Ms. Hawkins says on Instagram, "What will we assess all students? Some countries do not. So we do not consider that. I do believe we don't value education as much as some countries as well. You see it in the immigration studies. I can agree with that. I can agree with that, Ms. Hawkins. I can, and really that's a problem, and that begins at the house, at home, with the parents. I agree with you. Parents, what we doing with our kids? Are they spending more time on their phones? Live streaming, right? Or reading a book? Exercising their minds. We're in the information age. Things move at the speed of light. They move quick because we're in the information age. That's on us, parents. What we doing? Right? Teachers are not babysitters. Teachers are teachers. That's it. We are the parents. Not hard, guys. Not hard. The reason why we're sucking is because we are sucking as parents. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. Right, guys? So again, execution is key. Yes, public schools. Empower charter schools more. Right? And if private schools want to also jump into this school choice situation, let them. Why? Because those parents are paying with their tax dollars as well. You can't take their money and then tell them that they can use their money for the kids' education. No. If that's the case, stop charging property taxes. Stop charging them. Because why? They don't need to pay it. Because why? You won't let them use their own money. So don't take the property tax money then from them. Since they're wealthy, right? Oh, you don't want that though. Because why? It's all about the money. That's why I said execution is the key to fixing education, not money. The money's there. The money is there. Well, guys, man, this was a very eventful discussion. I really, really, really enjoyed it, guys. This was pretty cool, guys. I really did, man. Hey, guys, real quickly here. I'm in real estate development and private equity finance, guys. Right now, we're giving away a free ebook. It's called Distressed Property Investing. Most individuals ask me, LaDale, I need to begin a side hustle. And I say, I agree with you guys. Here's my philosophy, guys. I do not want to give, I think courses are for suckers. I believe how you begin to grow in wisdom and knowledge when it comes to an industry or to be successful in an industry is to do the work of active work of investing in real estate. That's why my philosophy is to give away information for free. Free. It's a free ebook, guys, completely free. We talk about how you can find, vet, as well as close a distressed property in your city or county. And if the deal makes some sense, right? Now we're run the numbers with you. If it makes sense, I'll fund the deal for you, right? Together we can profit share together. We can joint venture together. I want no excuse. I want to give away information. Matter of fact, for those who actually get the ebook, guys, what happens is you actually get access to that very master class that we did with this ebook. Myself and Cliff actually went through this exact same ebook. So you can kind of walk through it line by line. We talk about new construction, fixing, flipping, buying and holding, buying and renovating, wholesaling as well. All that is in the ebook, guys, right? We talk about a strategy of how you can locate a distressed property by just calling down your city and getting a free list of it. It's in the ebook, right? So, guys, if you want the ebook, click on the link below in the description, scan on the QR code, or you can direct message me the word real estate, direct message me, not in the chat, but literally send me a direct message name for real estate. And what happens is my team will get you out the link today. It is completely free. Don't want nothing from you at all. I want to give you information. I want to give it to you. All right. Now, some people may say, Dale, I really don't want to invest in real estate at all. I'm rocking with you. Hey, don't you worry, your partner got you. Hey, we have something called the passive income blueprint, guys. Real estate may not be for you, and that's fine. I don't know what is for you, but a good friend of mine, Matt Sapala, actually did a free presentation. It's free, completely free presentation on passive income blueprints. Blueprints, if that makes some sense, guys. All right. And it's free. And he actually does a case study on your partner. I'm in the video, baby. But yeah, guys, he talks about the top three models that you can actually generate that passive income. You're gonna be shocked by the third one. Shocked by it, guys. But it's free. Scan the QR code on the screen, or if you can do that at all, in the description section. Real simple, guys. Click on that link in the description section, or you can direct message me the word passive income. My team will get it out to you. All right. And then lastly, guys, man, I always look better than everybody on the screen, man. You see me looking better than you. Hey, guys, we got our merch out, man. We got our merch out, guys. We call it the bag merch, baby. Hey, if you want something from this merch, guys, we got hoodies, we got t-shirts, we got trucker hats. We got it all, guys. Hey, man, scan on the QR code or click on the link below, guys, to get you some merch, guys. All right, guys. Well, guys, that's all I had for today. This was a little bit of a long one because I had to kind of go in a little bit here, guys. I hope I was able to give you some type of value. Again, let me say it again before I get off, guys. All right. The key to solving education is on the execution, not money. Okay, guys. So, guys, thanks so much for your time. God bless you. Again, if you could like and subscribe, guys, to the channel, guys, if you could, and if you could share, guys. And lastly, my bad, Cliff and I tomorrow at 5 p.m. CST, we do something called Real Estate Friday Lives, baby. It's probably really our most popular podcast, guys. Here's a little bit of a brief type of thing. When we talk about, guys, on Real Estate Live, here we go. Let's get it in. What's good, baby? It's your boy Dale. I'm back in the saddle again. Our motto is to buy, build. We already bought it already, so we already own it, free and clear. Refinance to long-term debt, cash flow. That is the motto. Cliff, man, is that a pretty strong motto, man? What do you think?
Man, the model is strong. Like, you're getting each piece of the invest, right?
Yes, sir. Real Estate Friday lives at 5 p.m. CST every Friday on all platforms. You see your partner and Cliff. Get it in, man. We talk about all things real estate, guys. All things real estate. But guys, man, and I see you, Miss Hawkins. You said transportation is a big sticking point. Yes, it is. I agree with you, ma'am. Now again, if you're wanting school choice, guys, hey, it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you. You're gonna have to see. This is when you become a better negotiator. If you're also wanting access to transportation, you parents have to become a better negotiator, which means, hey, yes, if you're allocating X amount of dollars to my child, right? How much of that's going toward their education? How much of that's going toward transportation? The devil is in the details. Okay, again, execution is the key. That begins with you, parents. All right, begins with you. But guys, thanks so much for your time. God bless you. Know how to end it every single time before you leave while you can, baby. You see that thing. Take the picture for your mom and them. All right, your partner. God bless you guys. See you next time. Peace. Hi, my name is LaDale Bug. Mastering the strategy of locating distressed properties has allowed for me to own about $35 million worth of real estate currently right now. We're talking about new construction, single-family residences, commercial properties, and apartment complex. You name it, I own it. And I know you're asking, what does this got to do with you? I'm glad you actually asked. One of the most common questions that I receive when it comes to real estate investing is that they say, LaDale, what is the best strategy I should use when it comes to executing a good investment strategy in real estate? Should I buy and hold? Should I buy and flip? Or should I do a rental scenario? My answer to that question is, when I do all three. But the good thing about it is the investor that masters the art of locating distressed properties will know exactly how and what strategy is the most wisest in that situation. That's the key to this whole thing. If you wanted to know how successful real estate investors make money with their acquired real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below or swipe up and download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed, holler at your partner, and download the ebook today.